The Crit Show contains elements of horror, fantasy violence, and adult language. Content warnings can be found in the episode description.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Clockwinders. No? Fuck.
Yes.
Welcome to the Clock Show, where we're playing the Critwinders.
Yeah!
Welcome to the Crit Show, where we are playing the Clockwinders. Last time, our heroes brokered something of a peace with the Wilders, found some equitable terms to exist on. They had learned the nature of the beast that is hunting the Wilders, hypothesized that repairing the movement core might be a solution, and basically made an arrangement with them that next time they need to come around these parts, if things aren't better, barter with the people of Tree Town.
Willowdale.
Come to an agreement with the people of Willowdale.
You can look at your notes.
I don't have those. I don't keep those. You'd think that might change when I was the one running it, but you're incorrect.
No.
I'm way less like that.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Now here's the truth. We'll get back to the recap in a second.
Yeah.
Here's the truth: is I am taking way more notes as the person running it, and so far it is 1.5 pages, and that is far more than historically I have taken notes as a player.
Are all those notes because, and we've talked about this before, that the thing that makes you anxious about adventure paths is like making a decision that fucks something up later?
Yeah. Any call that I've made, I'm immediately writing in the notes because I'm like, I'm gonna have to consult that against the guide later. Hope I didn't break it.
I'll tell you, I used to take pretty good notes when we would just be playing games, like all the way back in the Earth Dawn days when we met and everything. But this show ruined me on taking notes because I listened to the episodes after Rev edits them for the descriptions and stuff. So I'm like, I don't need the notes. I'm just going to listen to it and get refreshed a day or two before we record anyway.
I take very mechanical notes, but then I write things down like, give us bear doily. And I don't know what that means anymore.
Yeah, so you guys did negotiate to keep that ghillie suit. What kind of bear was it, Rev?
It was a moss bear.
A moss bear. There we go. The moss bear ghillie suit, which is extraordinarily heavy and currently equipped to Smee, I think.
Yeah.
So
over him like a doily.
yes.
Oh!
Thus, hence the name. So you guys went back to Willowdale, made good with the folks there. They made good on their promise to give you intel, pointed you in the right direction. You trekked a little bit, didn't quite reach the grove itself, but you did stumble upon the old dilapidated rail platform that was the hub for this movement core. It was sinking into quicksand, which almost claimed Maxine, and rather than exercising caution based on that fact, she let Smee rocket her across into one of these collapsing structures, where she came face to face with a corpse in Clockwinder garb. And that is where we were picking up. Nose to nose with a skelly. How do you feel about that?
I think you guys just hear a scream from inside, and then Maxine shows up in the doorway, just like pale-faced and just shaking her head back and forth.
I think that, like, because of our relationship, the scream that you had when you landed face to face with it, like, I don't think you make it out the door before Kade is on the back of Smee and trying to run across the quicksand.
Oh, on his snowshoes?
Yeah.
Oh, ooh.
Oh, would that work? Because it's kind of like, is it like, I don't know anything about quicksand other than you should stay away from it, but is it like kind of oobleck where if you
More surface
it?
area is better.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I don't even think he's thinking about that. Like, I threw Maxine, she screamed. I have Maxine's back. All the thought is gone. I have to get over there.
Damn, okay. Yeah, I think you're going to have to make an overcome roll for this. I'm trying to decide what... It feels like it's in athletics. It's not your athletics, though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what,
Hmm.
I'd let you do a crafts, because you are the one who equipped his shoes and you are riding your mechanism. I would accept a crafts to overcome this, just
Okay.
like riding on the back of the crafting you've already done.
Nice.
Think we're going to call this a fair difficulty, trying to beat a 2.
Okay, and I'm going to use my mech friend +2 to overcome physical obstacles when utilizing SME.
Perfect.
5.
Hell yeah.
Okay. You succeed with style, you get what you want, and you gain a boost. So, as Maxine comes back to the doorway to look out, Kade atop Smee is just rocketing across the quicksand, rapidly approaching that doorway. You manage to get into the structure part rather than the quicksand part.
Whoa, hey, you okay?
I'm just shaking my head back and forth, like wide-eyed.
What? What's going on?
I don't think I move. I just kind of like gesture with both hands through the doorway.
Einon, it's bad. It struck her speechless.
I'm feeling a bit speechless myself. If she could have just ridden him across in the first place. Is she all right?
I don't know. I get my wrench off my back and walk into the doorway.
Yeah, you arm yourself and move past her, and in the haze, in the twilight here, you also make out the shape of a corpse on the ground.
I also scream.
I think I'm outside the doorway looking at Einon, just shaking my head, and then with my hands just gesturing at my body up and down, like trying to get across that there's a body in there, but I can't say it.
She's just wiggling and gesturing at herself. Kade is screaming.
Shaking my head.
Yeah, I'll step back outside. There's a dead guy in there. There's a dead guy.
Like, is it ambulatory?
No.
Oh, for the love of God.
What?
A clockwinder? It was a clockwinder.
Is it fresh?
I don't know. I didn't taste it.
Oh, God!
Is there a skeleton or is it just a dead guy? Every one of
all
us
look at you so
just
expectantly.
turned. I'm facing him, and I had to turn to look at him in unison with the other two.
Tell us, Jake.
I mean, I don't think it requires a roll just like at a glance. It's not like a fresh body. This is pretty well decayed. It's been here for quite some time. It's not just bones picked clean. Actually,
But it's because it's a super wet environment.
yeah, but no, actually, I'm going to take that back. It probably is bones picked clean because everything in this swamp wants to eat people.
Scavengers.
So yeah, it is like a skeleton wearing shredded, tattered Clockwinders garb.
I take that back. It's a skeleton, actually.
Oh, well, all right. Can you pinpoint any trauma on any of the bones? That maybe something that would give insight to why it perished?
Maybe. I'll turn and, try to give it the once over.
Yeah, I'll go back inside and try and help him.
I feel like if I had realized there was gloom and haze in here, I thought it was kind of fleshy. But now that I see it's a skeleton, I get that people die. I know people have died.
It's like the bone you would buy for your dog at the pet store. Like it's still like
it's like
it's meaty. Like it's got some stuff
It's
on
got
it.
some gristle.
Yeah.
ugh.
While you're looking that over, ask him if he knows his way to the movement core.
Einon, have some respect. This was a clockwinder and a person.
Yeah, sorry, darling. Yes, my apologies.
Clockwinder.
Yeah, Kade and Maxine, as you are looking this corpse over, you see one clear point of trauma, as Einon put it. It looks like its ankle was fractured. It looks like it had a broken ankle. Otherwise, other than marks from things pecking at it and chewing on it, there's no clear stab wound or gunshot wound or anything like that. Maxine, you also notice, because what got you here was a create an advantage roll. You are due to reveal an aspect. You notice that it has a journal that is in pretty bad shape, very weathered, has succumbed to the elements pretty severely, but there is a leather-bound journal among its possessions.
A book. I'll reach out and grab it.
Okay. Yeah, you grab it, and you can see that the cover is emblazoned with the Clockwinders emblem, and inside of the first page is a name, Rai Zwal.
Looking around in this room, what else is in here?
There's nothing really in here beyond this corpse and its effects. This is a rail platform, but the rail itself has long since sunk. There is not a train car here that is half submerged or anything. You see this skeleton, the remains of its clothes, its journal. There are also some what look like wrappings for like provisions, but like the provisions aren't in there anymore. There's a water skin, but it is empty. But a lot of this is damaged. It seems like whatever creatures have gotten to it over time, if there was evidence here, it has been tainted.
I'm specifically looking for somewhere to sit.
Oh yeah, I mean there's like a bench
Okay, perfect.
to wait for the train.
Oh, I'll go to the train bench and hold the journal near my lantern and flip to the last page.
Okay. You flip to the last page and you can see that this is an account that this person was keeping of their experiences. The last couple pages highlight that they were left here to maintain the core, but he thinks that he was forgotten and he became injured, couldn't bypass the quicksand, tried to tap into ether to heal himself or give himself the ability to get out of here, and failed. And he felt it like poisoning him. And that is just the end of the journal.
I have walked back over to the door. Yeah, it seems like he broke his ankle.
Oh, that's a dreadful beginning to an end.
Yeah, like he might have been on his way to do what we're trying to do now, but he couldn't walk, I guess.
He couldn't get past the quicksand and nobody came back for him. He tried to use ether, but it just made him sick and then he died.
I think when Maxine says that, I'm going to start looking around. Like, if this guy tried to use ether, like, I wonder if he got here and tried to do it. Like, is there any visible, like, source of ether?
It's leaking from a movement core, which has got to be fairly close by. So maybe it was just kind of residual.
Like, near, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, think about how, like, again, in the narrative, you don't know that you're the one using ether, but, like, you can just use ether for powers. Like, it does just kind of exist in the miasma and, like, within you to a degree.
Okay.
So
Technically, like, radiation is in sunlight, but also, at a... God damn it.
What else is radiation?
Well, like a
Microwaves.
nuclear plant that's broken down and the radiation is leaking out, and there's dogs with 4 heads and stuff like that.
That's right. Good job.
So
Tass.
I'm just saying that's the difference. There's this is just sunlight.
Great work. A+. Take a fate point.
All dogs have 4 heads.
I wonder if anybody ever thinks this is disingenuous. Like, I wonder if anybody ever thinks she's fucking with you.
They've never met her in person.
Yeah, this is a 1,000,000% real every time it happens.
We've got Ori with us today, and he has ducked his head under the table to look in your direction to see if you're okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, puppy.
He's checking on you.
Oh, that's good, Rev.
We have ultra proof of this. Many of us saw this happen in front of what's his name from Shark Tank, even.
Oh my
Mark
God.
Cuban.
Mark Cuban, that's right.
Creator of the wonderful sandwich.
And there's no way I could fake anything in front of Mark Cuban. That man has the eagle eye for liars.
He does.
He's a diviner. He can see all. So anyway, no, there's no like obvious source of ether. There's no point of a leak or anything.
You want to come over?
How?
I mean, Smee left some pretty, like, where it hit. You might be able to use those spots.
Would it be necessary for me to be there for some reason that I'm not yet catching on to?
I don't know. I guess it depends which way the movement core is, and if it's like the only way. Like, it seems like for this guy, the quicksand was between him and the movement core, or at least between him and home from the movement core.
Well, if the whole station is sinking and he was at the center of it, I see how that could be a problem.
Yeah, Kate, go over to the other side and see what you can see past that way. I'm going to keep looking through this journal for some clues.
Okay.
Is there a name in there?
His name was Rai Zul.
A bit of another morbid thought. Is there any chance whatsoever that our good fellow here is the source of the Wraith?
I mean, the Wraith is being held here against his will, right?
Yes, in theory.
It doesn't look like this guy is forcing anything anywhere. He's very dead.
All right, well, I'll try to keep that name in mind in case we come across the Wraith and some other being snatched up his soul as it tried to leave.
Unless he's faking. And I turn to look at the skeleton.
It turns to look at you and it says ads.
I mean, that's a good thing to know, though. Like, if we find out that the Wraith is this guy, what big news that would be. Like, oh, yeah, you use ether and, like, something befalls you. It could, like, that's even more of a corrupting force. It could bring you back in a bad way.
Oh, you mean that Rye is the Wraith? I thought you meant he was
Yes.
controlling the Wraith. No. You're right. That could definitely be it.
Well, I suppose we'll see, or we won't. One of those definitely will prove
Gosh,
true.
what if he doesn't even, like, if it's him, he's just following these people around because they have, like, provisions, and he died without enough provisions. And that's why he's following them. He's like, I need food.
No, because Einon, you said that sometimes Wraiths are here because they have unfinished business and sometimes because they're forced to, but this Wraith is forced to, right?
Yes. I think the difference is that a spirit can remain for unfinished business, but a wraith specifically is here against its will.
Oh. Okay, so we're going to rule him out then.
Oh, no, not necessarily, unless some other being, ether user, snatched up his soul as it tried to leave.
Yeah. Rule him out for having, like, being the cause of his own being back.
Yes.
Okay. I'll go around to the other side of the building.
Okay. All right, you go around to the other side of the building, look out opposite the direction you approached from, kind of like following the line of this building, like the theoretical path of the rail were it to still exist above the surface. And as you are scrutinizing, like as kind of the fog and the mist of the swamps are shifting, you do feel like in the distance, every now and then you might be catching a glimpse of like a neatly manicured hedge.
I'll run back around. I think I see, like, landscaping.
Well, that's promising. Does it seem like I can simply go round the outside of the station here and get to the hedges that you see?
Around the outside?
Round the outside, yes.
There's like 7 music jokes I could make. That was one of them. I don't know. I guess it just depends. Like, can you tell from your side how far around the quicksand goes?
I suppose I can try, and I'll take my bow and just start sticking it into the ground, making my way to the right, just seeing if there's a spot where this finally ends.
Okay. Yeah, I think you get the impression that, like, you will be able to circle around. You're just going to have to cut a fairly big swath to do it. A setback of, like, 15 minutes or something.
Yes, I think I found the edge of it.
You two, on the other hand, are in the midst of the quicksand. You're going to need a way back out, whether you're beelining for what you've seen through the fog or whether you're trying to group back up with Einon.
Yeah. Once I'm back inside, look at Maxine. Anything else in there?
Kade, please, I'm trying to read.
Okay.
Is there anything else in there?
So this journal does just contain like his general accounting of his duties as a clockwinder. Treating this as an aspect, we're going to call this the Clockwinders journal. It would take a long time to like read through and gather everything that's in here, but you can invoke this as an aspect to utilize when you are in need of information that this book might contain.
I'd like to kind of ruffle through this book really quickly and try and see if I can pick anything out information-wise of what we can expect when we get there, just so we're not completely going in blind.
Okay. So I think that will be a create an advantage to like unveil some information. We'll say that is with lore, and it's a pretty hefty journal, and you're looking like not super specifically for anything. So I think there's going to be a little bit of difficulty to that. I think you're going to be trying to beat a 3.
6.
Nice.
So you succeed with style. You are going to reveal an existing aspect here, and you are going to get 2 free invokes on that aspect. You find in his journal mention of the brute that guards the movement core, that guards the grounds. It is a clockwork golem that is named Arctis-J4. As has been described to you, it is a tall humanoid, but with a moose head and an extra arm. And he mentions that its purpose was protection. It was here to guard the facility. So we will call this aspect the Clockwork Guardian, and it has 2 invokes.
Kade! Arkady, get over here!
Okay.
Look at this. It's a Clockwork Guardian.
Oh.
The moose head with the arm, the thing that Wazine told us about.
Well, that's good. It's not like a monster or a fae or something.
No, it's meant to protect.
Okay. And I'm going to turn back to his body and, like, look over to see if he has any kind of identifier, like a badge or something that, if this thing is here to protect, that we can show it. Like, hey, this is us.
He does have like the shreds of the tabard that he's wearing that is emblazoned with the Clockwinders emblem. It's in bad shape, but it is like garb that would indicate that one is a Clockwinder.
I will shake his bones out of it. Like, I will. I don't know the best way to get his ribcage out of it.
What is the most violent way I could describe this?
Just going to stomp on him till it's dust and then just slip that
shake
up.
it out.
And then just beat it like a rug.
Yeah.
You accidentally get a lung full of dude dust.
Oh no!
I'm using that as a character name for something.
Fucking dude dust sounds like whatever Joe Rogan's peddling next.
Oh, God. You get this thing passable, sufficient, and throw it over your head. And yeah, it drapes over your gear, and you can make out the logo of the Clockwinders on your chest.
This thing reeks.
Oh, wait. Why didn't they give those to us before we left the palace?
I don't know. Maybe it's been so long since anybody's been here that, like, they didn't know.
Still, I'm just realizing we don't have any sort of... We didn't get badges. Like, we should have badges, right?
I don't know. We're not, like, constables. Did they have badges?
Well, no, I don't mean, like, we're supposed to have badges, but I mean, like, we should have something official.
Oh, to, like, prove it instead of just being like, whoa, we're Clockwinders.
Yes, I mean, not that anybody would lie about that. I mean...
You got the journal now.
Oh, that's true.
That's Maxine's journal. Wink.
Yeah, it is. Okay, all right. So you have that looking sharp.
Yeah.
Just stay over there.
Yeah.
And let's go out into the fresh air and figure out how to get over the sand.
Okay.
I seem to have found the traversable edge. Kade, what are you wearing?
You like it? It smells real bad.
So bad.
But it might stop a golem from attacking us.
Oh, that's right. It's a golem. It's a Clockwinder golem.
Oh, lovely. That seems either far more dangerous or in our favor.
This was the only thing he had on him that, like, it might recognize and be like, oh, you're okay. So I thought we'd take it.
The logic is sound to me.
We get to a town, I'll see if we can find, like, a tailor or something and make some new ones.
Take this one in. Get the fit just right. See if I can find a tailor to put some darts in this.
Do you think Smee can take both of us back over?
I don't see why not.
All right, Kade, same roll as last time, but now I think you're trying to beat a 4.
Okay. And can I use my boost from the previous roll? Smee knows how to traverse this now.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
6.
All right, that is a success. You manage to traverse yourself and Maxine across the quicksand again to reunite with Einon.
Expertly done, my boy.
Yeah, good job, Smee.
All right, anything else before you guys head towards the hedges?
Is there any other grave robbing you two would like to do before we get moving?
This is a piece of history, I say as I, shake the journal in front of his face.
It belongs in a museum.
I think that as Maxine was reading, I don't know that it matters what, but I feel like I would have taken something else to give a proper burial to later, like his skull or something.
The whole skull?
Yeah.
Yorick style? Okay. Yeah, absolutely. You just tell me how many bones. You just give me a number. There's 200 and...
At least 200.
6 bones in the human body? Is that the right number?
Sounds right. I had 216 in my head, but I think 206. That seems more right.
Which is weird because I collected 311.
Oh, no.
So something may have been askew.
But not precisely human, are they?
Yeah.
I mean,
it was
he
206.
did-
Fucking nailed it. I
Nice.
went to college.
He did.
It's on his exit exam.
You did have to take classes like
I
that.
literally took a class where I had to name all of them, so I should know how many there were.
I think I had 216 in my head from the last x-ray I had on my knee. It
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
makes it seem
They
like...
count the shards.
Yeah,
Are you-
exactly.
Are you taking teeth into account there?
Definitely not enough teeth then. You and your 10 teeth.
All right, you animals continue following the trajectory that is safe of the quicksand towards the heading that Kade had pointed out. And you start to see a large grove that seems to be kind of surrounded by manicured hedges. The ground within is not as wet and swampy. It actually looks like nice grass. And it's a circle of about a quarter acre in diameter, just in the midst of the swamp here. And standing close to its center, you can see this colossal 8-foot moose-headed humanoid just standing stock still.
So is the moose head all mechanical as well, just shaped to look like that, or is it like somehow realistic? Like what should I be picturing here?
Is this like if you undressed one of the animatronics from Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah.
Just robot body, but animal-looking head?
No, there's not a lot really to give away that this would be a robot. Its left arm and then the additional third arm underneath that are metallic. The rest of it doesn't look robotic. The body looks human. It is not wearing a shirt, but it looks like it has flesh. It is wearing pants and boots and a belt, and the moose head looks like a moose's head. Like, it all looks not like a robot, not like a golem or clockwork.
Oh, God. I hate this. Okay, so this is what I was afraid was in the trees. Like, this exact thing. That's awful. That's awful.
Well, I mean, it should, in theory, be on our side.
Yeah, I know. It should be on our side.
I'll step forward. Hello, Mr. Moose?
Arctis J4.
Oh, right. Arctis J4?
You see this thing, like, kind of power on. Like, it was holding so perfectly still that it must not have been functioning. But as you call out to it, you see that kind of like settling in, like its shoulders come back, its head comes up a little bit, and it turns to look in your direction.
I'll hold the journal out in front of me and kind of gesture towards the Clockwinder symbol on the front of it.
I'll step up next to her and, like, brandish the tabard out.
Hello, we're here. We're Clockwinders, and we're here to fix the movement core.
Intruders detected.
No, oh no.
Activate defensive measures.
Rai sent us! Raizul!
And that extra arm, which is holding a big fuck-off warhammer, raises it up and starts advancing in your direction.
Are we done trying to reason with it?
I don't know.
All right, I'll try one myself then, I suppose. Arctis J4, stand down in the name of the Clockwinders.
Hostiles utilizing subterfuge.
That is inaccurate.
Maxine, is there like a password or anything in that book?
I run behind Kade. I don't know. Keep showing him the tabard.
I wonder if it's because it got like a hole in it that he thinks we robbed the guy that we robbed.
We did rob the guy that we robbed.
Hostiles confessing to violent crimes. It actually starts to pick up speed. Like what starts as kind of a robotic march turns into like a lumber and then a run.
All right then, love. And I want to line up a shot and try to put an arrow into its knee.
I'm going to try and run towards some of the bushes, like diagonal.
Okay.
I'm just backing away and trying to look through the book for a password.
All right. So we need to decide what sort of interaction this is. Is anybody trying to hurt it?
No.
Kind of. Like, I don't want to destroy it because I want this thing to still do its job, but I don't want it to kill us. So I think I'm trying to slow it down to give everyone an opportunity. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of trying to break a part of it, but I'm not trying to put it down.
My intent is to try to fix it. Like, whether that means getting inside and resetting something or not the physical element, but the programming.
And I'm trying to appeal to its original programming, do whatever a Clockwinder is supposed to do to get it to stop attacking.
Okay. So a conflict would be if you intended harm on each other, and it does intend harm on you.
Rude.
It's not a contest because you're not two parties trying to accomplish the same thing. So this leads me to this being a challenge, which is a series of overcome actions to get to a particular goal. Like each person is doing something different to ultimately achieve an objective. I'm a little torn because it does want to hurt you, but I think what you guys are going to need to do as a group, you're going to have to somehow diagnose it. You're going to have to restrain or incapacitate it, and you're going to have to actually repair it. I think the repairing has to be the last one. I think the other two could go in either order, incapacitating it and figuring out what's wrong with it, depending on like how you want to do each of those things. So what do we think what action is each person taking in this challenge?
Seems like I'm trying to subdue it.
I mean, I could go either way, whether it's trying to like diagnose it from what I'm seeing it doing or the actual repairing of it. What do you think?
I think I think I would be diagnosing it. I think coming down to the actual repair, you would be better at.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start then with Maxine, trying to figure out what needs to be done to this thing. Still using the journal for that, or are you trying to actually get eyes on the golem? I mean, you have eyes on the golem, but is that how you're trying to figure out what's wrong with it, or via what's written in the book?
I think I'm going with what's written in the book because I'm hoping for some establishing knowledge of what I should be seeing, and then I can figure out what I'm not seeing.
So I'm going to have you make an overcome roll with lore, and I think this one's going to be fairly difficult because of the events documented in this journal, this golem malfunctioning ain't in there. It seems like this is something that has just gone wrong with it over time since that Clockwinder perished. Last time he saw it, it was in good working order. But you can therefore definitely get some context on what it should be doing. You're just going to have to work backwards to why isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's the tough part. So give me an overcome roll with lore, and I think you're trying to beat a 4.
6.
Okay. So what you find in this journal, Arctis J4 was one of a cadre of clockwork golems that were created by and utilized by the Clockwinders to help them with their work. They were used for muscle. They were used to store ether. So his job was to provide defense and to safely contain the ether that was not being safely contained otherwise by a movement core. You find that this thing is a treasure trove of knowledge. It contains a lot of information. It is intelligent, not like, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't have a soul. Like, it's not like a
sentient.
Yeah, it's not like a thinking, feeling being, but it is like a smart computer. And something must be wrong with its targeting because it seems to be interpreting everybody as friend or foe, whereas from the account in the journal, it should be able to distinguish between the two. It should know how to do that. You also find that there is mention of a service panel on its back. On the torso, kind of hidden by like the shaggy mane of the moose fur that hangs down from the head, kind of at the middle of the shoulder blades. There is an access panel where somebody could get to its inner workings and repair it.
I'm just backing away from it, flipping through the pages in the journal, and I yell out, Oh, here it is, I found it. Okay, it's something with its targeting. It's seeing everyone as an enemy, but there's a panel on its back, right between its shoulder blades. We can get in there and fix it. It has so much knowledge.
Marvelous, darling. I'll try to get it on its belly then.
Yeah, so next up, Einon. This thing is rushing towards you, warhammer in hands.
The first quick thing that I want to do as Kade and Smee are tearing away is put a hand out and just grab the corner of the moss bear hide, so that it just slides off as they run and thumps to the ground next to me. Then I'm going to line up a couple of shots, and I'm not trying to break its kneecaps per se. I'm just trying to get some arrows in where I hope some gears will be so that they just can't turn.
All right. So this is again going to be an overcome action with shoot, it sounds like. And again, I think this one's going to be pretty tough. This is a big fucking Hulk and it is trying to run you down. So I think you also will be trying to beat a 4.
Okay. 7.
Whoa.
Nice.
Okay. You succeed with style, you get what you want, and you gain a boost. So you put a couple of arrows into the knee joints, into the mechanics of the knee joints, and it is enough to stagger this thing. And it kind of stumbles like to its knees and falls prone. Its upper half is still quite functional, like it isn't just going to lay there and die.
Yeah.
But it does hit the ground face first. Kade, what are you doing?
I'm going to run up and try to get into the hatch and see if I can make some adjustments to its targeting program.
Okay, so once more, an overcome roll. This would be with crafts, but for you it is with burglary.
Yeah.
I'm trying to decide if yours is even harder because you've got to do both the physical part of hopping on this thing's back and the part of repairing it despite its protestations. I think you're going to try to beat a 5.
Okay.
Don't forget we have a boost in the ether as well.
Yeah. I don't need to use it yet. I'll wait till I roll.
Smart.
Okay, now I need to use it. So I'm at a 3. If I can use the boost and just call it knocked loose, that the hitting the ground has jarred the panel open, so it makes it that much easier for me to access.
Sure. That would get you to the tie. Is there anything else you want to invoke to get you to the success?
Yeah, baby, I'm the mechanist. I know how to do this.
All right, go ahead and spend your fate point.
So 7.
All right. you get what you want. So you are going to be able to repair this thing. So I think how this plays out is Arkady starts to like zag, break its line of sight. Maxine rips through the journal and starts calling out useful information. Einon, you are able to fire your arrows into its joints. It hits the ground face first, and it's pissed. It's still very capable, though. Like, it starts trying to work its way back up.
At that moment, can part of my subduing be that I've grabbed the corner of the moss hide and like just dragged it over, given it a big momentum spin, and just huck it over its like head and shoulders and just jumped on it to try to weight him down for Kade?
Yeah, sure. Because it was barreling towards you. So, like, it's pretty close to you. Kade's got to loop back around from behind, and the time that takes, you weigh it down with the moss bear hide. And Kade jumps on its back, wrenches open that panel, gets a look at the inner workings, and starts fidgeting. Arctis thrashes a bit. It's trying to like reach behind it, but it's like when bodybuilders have huge traps and they can't get to the middle of their back. It's trying to reach out for Einon. It's scrambling to get back up. And Kade, you just give it a little twist here, a little reconnect there, a little of the old magic, and all of a sudden it freezes with its arms like still kind of reaching back for you, and then it just kind of like replaces its arms back towards its side like it's planking on the ground. You can feel that like it's still operational. You did not shut it down, but it does not seem to be in attack mode anymore.
Arctis J4, you okay?
Unclear. I am face down in the ground.
Do you recognize us as Clockwinders?
Can you identify yourselves as Clockwinders?
Yes, we are Clockwinders.
We also have the insignia on our journal and on our tabard.
We're new, but we're official.
It places its hands on the ground like it wants to stand up.
Yeah, I'll get off of it.
Me as well.
Okay. It lifts itself up off the ground, stands back up, and surveys each of you. And you see it focus on the emblem on the tabard and the emblem on the journal. Welcome, new Clockwinder personnel. I am Arctis J4. How can I be of assistance?
Yes, we did it. We did it.
Arctis J4, good clockternoon to you.
Oh my God. I think that is where we will end it for this week. So thank you all for joining us for another episode of the Clockwinders, the Critshow, the Critwinders. If you are interested in the game or the setting, you can find information on those things in the show notes, the episode description. If you would like to partake of any of the other stuff that we have done, any of our many audios, videos, and other contents, you should check out our Patreon, patreon.com/theCritShow. If you subscribe there, you can get your name at the end of an episode, just like Skylar and Zach Sauer. Thank you.
Yeah, we got all kinds of... it's not Arkady. He doesn't need to be telling me this.
You're too method. You can't get out.
Inside the tiers, we've got all kinds of different rewards, including, stuff on our digital tier like character art or comic book panels from episodes, as well as music and mysteries. So all kinds of stuff.
It is varied and endless. No, there's theoretically an end to it. There's a finite amount, but it's a shitload. Check it out.
It is only theoretically endless. It feels like it's unending.
You can't prove that there's an end to it. There's too much to do that.
I feel like we've got a handful of patrons who could prove it.
You're not invited. You're not allowed. You keep your mouth shut.
Keep it to yourself.
The number of people who are like, I'm just gonna start relisting to Perilous Tides for the third time.
Yeah. You guys, keep your stupid mouths shut. We love you so much. Thank you for joining us. Tune in next time for another episode of the Clockwinders. Everybody say goodbye.
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 The Crit Show is a Critshow Studios production, edited and produced by Brandon Wentz, with music by Jake Purley. You can find more information about us at thecritshowpodcast.com. To keep up to date with upcoming live shows, contests, and other special events, follow us at The Crit Show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For even more weekly content, join us at patreon.com/thecritShow.